So listen, it's Thursday night, and we at TNT stands for Thursday Night Tradition. This is week 74. It's a special Thursday. It's pitch night 2. We're going to listen to 10 awesome presentations from Calgary entrepreneurs that are raising money from local investors that are here on the call tonight. Each investor's put $5,000 into a holding company, and we're all working together as a team to select one company to invest in live at the TNT Investment Summit on November 19th. I know that you guys are getting local beers delivered to you in Calgary from Outcast, and I'm drinking my favorite beer here from Polar Park Brewing. Just had a great conversation with one of my fellow investors at Polar Park Brewing who said, Zach, you know, last week you were talking about how you wish you had a Startup TNT branded beer. We at Polar Park can do that for you. So they just told me we can make a special edition Startup TNT beer for the summit on the 19th for the deliveries. So pretty pumped about that. And I know that during COVID, it's harder and harder to have those kind of like fun, casual conversations like the one I just had. So Startup TNT is all about making those kind of like sidebar conversations, casual fun, building real relationships with scientists, investors, entrepreneurs, really everyone from the community. And I thought before I show you my slide deck, I thought I'd just share like, what are the 3 things we care about at Startup TNT and the Startup TNT Investment Summit? We are investors investing in one of the entrepreneurs here tonight. So we care about going in on a good deal and getting a good return. But that's just one of 3 things we care about. We also care about education, training ourselves as investors, training entrepreneurs, raising our game in the fundraising community for early stage companies, both entrepreneurs and investors. And then the 3rd thing we care about is building relationships. Some people call it community building. I call it relationship building. And you know, when it comes to accessing capital and raising money for your company, really what you need is a lot of friends out there that want to invest. And I'm really happy tonight that I'm co-hosting with Randy Thompson because I met him about 5 or 6 years ago. And when I first told him about a year and a half ago that I wanted to do something like this is what he said to me. Zach, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're building a convenience store. I'm in. And when you want to raise money, you need a lot of friends like that are like, I'm in. I love you, man. We have a relationship. Let's go in on this thing together. And so I hope that through Startup TNT and through our events, entrepreneurs and investors build relationships like that. So to get this party started, let's open up the chat. Can everyone just maybe say hello on chat, say what you're pumped up about? You know, the entrepreneurs here today, they're pitching for 3 minutes. They're going to get questions for 3 minutes. One of them will raise money from the investment group on the 19th, but all of them need our support. And it takes a lot out of you to give a presentation like this. It takes a lot of mental and physical focus. And so it means a lot to people to get a shout out from the audience to say, awesome pitch, really like what you're doing. I'd love to follow up with you. I can make an intro for you. So everyone in the audience, get involved, speak in the chat room, support the entrepreneurs in attendance. Okay, now I do want to share just a couple of slides before we get started. I'm going to hand it off to Randy in a minute. I'm going to make sure everyone can see my screen. All right, so at the Investment Summit, just a little bit of how it's going to work, okay? Because it's not just a pitch night, okay? It's not just a pitch night we're looking at now. It's not just a one-day event on the 19th. Each investor is pre-committing $5,000 for this investment. And as an investment team, we're all figuring out democratically as a team which company we're going to invest in, which means we're sharing the role of due diligence. We're having follow-up conversations with the companies right now. We're not just relying on these 3-minute pitches. We're going to make our decision live at the Investment Summit November 19th. And on October 22nd, we'll be meeting as a group to figure out which of the 20 companies, or which of the 5 companies out of the 20 presenting last week and this week are the ones that we're the most excited about, the ones that we're going to figure out actual term sheets with and figure out a way to invest in them on the 19th. One of them we'll invest in as a group. However, our whole goal here as at Startup TNT is to raise money for great local companies. So if there's more than one company that investors are excited about, we'll be facilitating side deals in those companies as well. All right, so 30 local investors is the goal. We're actually at 26 right now, so we got space for a few more. We added about 2 or 3 in the last couple of days. We'd love to get a few more involved for $150,000 in seed funding. And the format for tonight is 3 minutes to pitch for each entrepreneur, 3 minutes of questions from the investors. We will take questions from the audience if we have time, Investors, you can private message Randy your questions tonight, or you can just post them to the general chat. Either one works. If you'd rather send them privately to Randy or me, let me know. But yeah, we're going to have Randy moderate questions tonight, so send them to Randy. And we have actual simultaneous pitches going on right now between both Calgary and Edmonton. We're really excited about it. Everybody's invited to the after party on Discord afterwards, and enjoy your beer delivery. Those beer deliveries are sponsored by members of the community. It's a simple and easy way to take on a leadership role in your community. Buy beer for a friend. We've been doing it for over a year now at Startup TNT. It's a lot of fun. We've got some great events. These events that I'm posting here, the first three, they're all part of Edmonton Startup Week. That's why they're all happening together there in the middle of October. The Startup TNT Investment Summit is happening November 19th. That's actually going to be a part of Calgary's Startup Week. So really excited about that. The pitches will be happening in early evening, late afternoon. Full schedule will be released shortly, but keep that date in mind, November 19th. That's when the full charade is going to be happening, the full shebang, and we'll be making our final investment decision. Now listen, I have a very important message I'd like to share. We at Startup TNT are really, really happy to report we have received some core funding from two levels of government. Western Economic Diversification Canada and Alberta Innovates is giving us some funding to help put on great events like this. And this means a lot to me personally, because we started this thing a year and a half ago, and we said, hey, you know, this is the type of stuff we'd like to see happening in Edmonton. These are the types of events we'd like to see happening as a community, you know, in Calgary as well. And I think a lot of times we think to ourselves, you know, will the government ever listen? You know, how do we get the government to support events that we all want as entrepreneurs? And I would say, to me, this is a sign that the government does listen to what we want. They are here to support us. They're providing some funding to Startup TNT to hire some people to actually organize the event, because there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes so that we all can enjoy ourselves here at events like this and at the summit. So really happy to share that news with everybody. And it's not just the government that's funding us. Look at all these members of the community that are funding us. CBRE, InnovaBot. CBRE hosted last week. InnovaBot invested with us last year, and now they're sponsoring us. Endeavor Advisory is made up of a bunch of guys that formed their company through Startup TNT. Now they help us run the summit. MB & Company is a great event planner in Edmonton that put out a quote that I said, I think that's too much money for me. And they said, don't worry, we'll give it part to you. We'll give you the price partly in kind. Thanks so much, MB & Co. Valhalla Angels is here hosting with us tonight. I've been a member of Valhalla Angels for 5 years now. Really happy to be investing with the Valhalla community here today. Look at all these close friends we have from industry and a bunch of community partners. Tech Edmonton helping us recruit entrepreneurs, providing us with pitch coaches. Platform Calgary doing the same. Deal Closer, great local company that's helping us administer our deal as well. So listen, I don't want to talk all night. I want to start building great companies together. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And actually, I think I have an exciting announcement too. Randy is wearing his Valhalla jersey, and to co-host with him, I am actually going to share for the very first time my own Valhalla jersey.
Isn't that great?
Thank you, Randy. Received this as a gift recently. Now's the time to break it out. Let's host this thing together.
That is so. It fits you well, by the way. Mine seems a little, I don't know, COVID. It fits very closely. I think that's the best way to put it. So it's looking good on you, brother. It's not bad when a Boston guy gets a hockey jersey and wears it well, by the way. Very impressive.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Not every PhD can do it. So,
Brandy, do you want to say anything about your own organization? You've been raising money for startups and building relationships between entrepreneurs and investors for what, 20 years now?
Yeah, I am definitely the old dog on the phone call. The only thing I don't want to do a shameless pitch for Valhalla. The hockey jersey thing was actually super important to us. Like we have, the concept of the team. I get the blue home jersey, and so if you ever see them, you'll know that's somebody who's in Valhalla. And our partners get the white jerseys, and Zach has been a friend. He's family. We've shared barbecues together, and I just love that. That's actually part of what makes the startup ecosystem work, is everybody hangs out together. Sam and I are threatening to get back together and hang out over cocktails. And Graham's there. Graham's become a super good member of the family. So, the only thing I really want to say is, like, when I started doing this back before the flood, I wrote my first checks and they were too big. And I didn't know anything about angel investing. I'd sold my internet company. I really wanted to do this. I didn't want to do it to make money as an investor. I just remember as an entrepreneur how pissed off I was, how hard it was to be an entrepreneur in Alberta, and nobody was there to help me. And that's still my passion around what we do at Valhalla. Our base camp is still my favorite thing to do, even more than the amount of money we've raised. But actually just, building family and ecosystem is huge. And for me, writing those checks, I wrote the checks were too big, and all the companies came back and asked me for more money. They all swore up and down. This is the only time I ever need a check. So I wrote the checks were too big. And my first 4 deals ended up becoming philanthropy, I like to call them. And after you write 4 checks that size, you have to decide whether you want to still be a charitable organization or you want to become an investor. And if I could go back in time and there was a startup TNT, I just love this model because it costs so little to figure out how not to get screwed. You're still going to get screwed as an investor. And by the way, as an entrepreneur, you're still going to get screwed too. That's half the fun of being in the startup community, is we all kind of screw each other over accidentally. But, every time it happens, we learn, we grow. I look back over 20 years and I don't regret a thing. I think this has been hugely valuable. And I think everybody who's on this Zoom call tonight, 20 years from now, you're all going to look back and say, it's even going to improve even more. But I just think you're all going to be way further ahead because we do something as a group, collectively learning together. The check pain is less. It won't cost you $180,000 to learn to be an angel investor. I wish I had that, but you know what? I'm such a big fan of this. Just coaching entrepreneurs, the value, the relationship with the money, and the investors, the relationship with the entrepreneur. And so let's just get started because I just love what we're doing here. So thanks for letting me co-host tonight. Nice jersey, buddy.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, let's do it, Randy. I don't know. Randy made this comment about we're going to screw each other over. I think he made that in good faith. We're mostly here to have fun. It happens accidentally. We make bad deals, whatever. This is all about, a short way to sum this up is we're crushing beers tonight, not dreams. That's what it said on the Beer Delivery Edmonton. We're crushing beers, not dreams. Let's enable the dreams. Let's empower the dream makers in our community. Who's our first presenter, Randy?
Well, I believe it's Phil at Teser Technologies, and it's good to have you aboard. I appreciate it that you panicked the organizer. Well done. We got to keep Zach on his toes too. The entrepreneurs all pitching tonight shouldn't be the only ones freaking out and stressing. So, Phil, the only thing I'm going to say, have fun, enjoy the 3 minutes, and here we go.
All right, thanks very much. Can everyone see this? Anybody good to go? All right.
Go ahead, Phil. I got your time going.
Going to start right off. My name is Phil Alley. I'm co-founder and CEO of Teser. I'm also the president of YEG and Industries, a metal manufacturing company here in Calgary. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, I decided quickly we needed to make a pivot to make a difference and keep current staff employed. Out of that, we birthed Teser Technologies. The problems we are addressing are high PPE costs affecting governments and private business. There's also going to be a focus on preventing future pandemics. And in Canada alone, each year, 220,000 patients acquire an infection while at the hospital and 8,000 deaths per year from those infections. Teser's UVC sanitization chambers can provide our customers with cost reduction through PPE cleaning for reuse, and the units can be a boost in the help against the spread of viruses before they become a global issue and can make a difference in the hospital-acquired infection rates. Teser has designed, manufactured, and tested these UVC sanitization chambers here in Alberta. We did this with the help of some brilliant minds at the institutions at the bottom of the screen. They use UVC LED light to destroy pathogens' genetic material to achieve full sterilization of most viruses and bacteria in under 60 seconds. Market is our big question as the pandemic has really opened things up for us. On the left, you can see pre-COVID. In the middle, you are looking at our reality during the pandemic, and after pandemic on the right is still a bit of a question mark. Our philosophy as a company when it comes to customers is both credibility and visibility. Currently, we are taking a top-down sales approach, aiming to meet with as senior positions as possible in both public and private institutions And for future sales growth, we are interested in exploring distribution agreements. Our revenue model is currently a direct product sales model, and we are going to be looking into partnering with a credit facility to provide leasing options. These are our revenue projections. 2022, that $90 million target is going to be through growth through the USA market, and the 2023 to 2025 targets to be achieved with both growth in existing geographic markets and entrance into the rest of the world market. We like to move fast, as this concept started on March 24th of this year. A specific one we are proud of is the COVID-19 tests. We were the first private UBC company in the world to test their product on the actual virus. And final production units are completed and currently offer testing at CSA and UL approvals. We have targeted Health Canada approval of November 2020, and we are looking to move into the US market in 2021. We feel we have assembled a talented team in our office and have brought on board some respected advisors to help guide us along the way with their knowledge in varying fields. And we are currently looking to raise $1.3 million in this round, with TNT being the lead investor. And that's it.
Okay, Phil, thanks. You're at 2:45,
Well,
so a little under 3 minutes. I suggest you stop sharing your screen for the questions, and Randy can moderate.
Well, I was going to say the opposite. Leave your screen up in case you want to go and refer to a slide. So sorry, Zach. So yeah, a couple questions have already rolled in. So what's your margins between, you've got a 19,005 MSR people. What's your margin on that 19K?
So we have about 60% built into that. Those are escalated prices so that we can sign distribution agreements or come down on bulk orders.
Good comment. Actually, we see a lot of companies that don't build in that distribution margin. So that's, you might have some retail guys on your advisory board, I noticed. So
yeah, founder of Sport Check.
Yeah, I saw that. Now, see, you got to drop that stuff in. So I'm going to ask a question, then I'll go back to chat. But so we're in October. You've got a 490K PO, but you're showing your 2020 projections in the 4.3 mil.
Yeah, I still have till the end of March 2021.
Okay, so you're going fiscal.
Yeah, and we do, sorry, that is fiscal, yes. And we do have $480,000 in conditional closed POs, just waiting on CSA approvals.
Okay, then supplemental questions, sir. So have you got a wicked sales pipeline that you should be sharing with us as well?
That is the most of our investment. We want to look in there for the sales and marketing investment so that we can grow those sales and accomplish those high revenue goals. Okay,
so right now the 4.3 or 4 point whatever, sorry, I apologize, is a target, but you don't have line of sight on that 4.3 right now.
We do have a pipeline of a lot larger number than that, but I felt that I wanted to be realistic to investors as something that I could achieve.
Okay, cool. Competitors, what do they charge and how are you different than them?
I do have one more slide. I cut it for time there.
By the way, Zach, good thing he's still got his slides up.
We definitely have some competitive advantages over them. One of them is size. So our direct competitor, most close to us in Canada, we're about 10 times larger of a cleanable area. They are on the cheaper side, but we also feel that we offer more versatility with the size, as well as our design makes it so that you can put this anywhere. It doesn't look out of place in an office or anything like that. Whereas theirs is designed, looks commercial for a hospital. Okay,
so Phil, sometimes we ask a competitive question. It's not to say that things are not going well for you. Usually your competitors are your buyers, right? So I noticed you did your best to not name them on the slide. Do you want to throw down some names?
Yeah, so Clean Slate is the one I was talking about, based out of Toronto. Very impressive company. There's also a lot of different products out there using UVC technology. We chose to keep ours contained within the box purely because of the safety concerns around UVC. It can cause a lot of damage to skin cells or your eyes. But there's a lot of robots. There's robots being developed in Montreal as well.
Hey, Phil, we're going to have to call it a wrap here. That's 6 minutes. You got a few more questions in the chat. I might encourage you to answer those in the chat generally for everyone to see, and we'll roll into our next speaker. But Phil, congratulations. Great start to the event tonight. Really awesome. Thanks so much.
Well, that's great. So we roll into Arbor, and it's Alex. Alex, don't take it personally. I'm not going to try your last name if that's okay. I can hear. I'm not hearing you. Interestingly, I want to just test that we can hear you. Just say something nice.
Can you hear me?
There, you're back.
Awesome.
Good, good, good.
Yeah. Can you?
Whoa! Now we hear you like 6 times.
Think we're good.
Okay,
We're good?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. I'm just gonna share. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Alex Todorovich. I'm a co-founder of Arbor. So nowadays, shopping sustainably is far too difficult. It's expensive, it's inconvenient, and the data is largely unavailable. 1.8 billion people shop online daily, and over 80% want to know how environmentally and socially responsible companies are. The Arbor browser extension is the only way to purchase goods and services based on your own values. Just install Arbor on your favorite browser and browse the internet like you normally would. Arbor keeps you informed and up to date on company practices such as waste management, human rights, and hiring diversity. As well, Arbor provides more ethical company alternatives with discounts and coupons to encourage responsible purchasing. Our data comes from a multitude of factual and up-to-date sources, including ESG and CSR data, the UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and B Corp certifications. So how do we make money? We've created a marketplace of over 350 highly ranked companies such as Adidas, Spanx, and Home Depot. We have over 1 million product links that offer discounts and cash back on purchases. Anytime our users click on a link or buy something from our affiliates, we generate revenue anywhere between 2 to 50% of that sale. With $1,000, we've grown to 800 signups for our platform. Our cost of acquisition is $1.45 per user, and we have a 14% conversion rate so far. We're getting constant affirmation that what we've created is something people truly want. These messages keep pouring in, and they're motivating us to deliver the best possible product. Honey is our main competitor. It scrapes the web for coupons and applies them for you as you shop online, and it was recently acquired for $4 billion by PayPal. They have 17 million users and 30,000 partners. They do not provide sustainability insights or corporate data, and they do not suggest alternatives. The reason Honey was acquired for $4 billion was due to the data that they collect. They know how and where people shop, and PayPal is willing to pay anything to have that kind of data. Arbor enables us to go one step further and answer the question of why people shop. What motivates them to make those decisions? Whether a consumer is more environmentally or socially inclined, or both, we're able to track those metrics and much more. This data will spark massive changes in company behaviors and practices, encouraging them to take bigger steps towards sustainability so that they can remain competitive. We're raising $1 million that will go towards our marketing budget, software, and data costs. With an increase in our marketing budget, we can leap far beyond our goal of 20,000 users in the first year. We're 4 founders with diverse backgrounds and years of entrepreneurial experience under our belts. If you'd like to learn more about us, feel free to ping us on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to chat. Thank you.
Awesome. Also coming in 15 seconds early. Randy, I already see some questions coming in.
Yeah, it also means we go to the after party about a half hour earlier if we're on this pace. So good work. Great pitch, Alex. It's actually the 2 of you guys both kicked it off really well. So one of the questions was, where are you getting your information about company habits? Like, it must be sort of a machine learning, AI. Are you using, what kind of tools are you using?
So there's this ESG and CSR data. ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. CSR is Corporate Social Responsibility. This data has been around for decades. It's primarily been used by investment firms, and basically there's an investment pool of about $30 trillion that this has been used for, to make sure that, these companies are ethical and responsible when investors are looking to put money into them. So we thought, like, nothing exists that takes this information and puts it on a per consumer basis, because we thought that this data is extremely valuable. Why shouldn't every single person have it on the planet?
Okay. Actually, I was going to ask a question similar to Zach's. Can you go back to your customer graph there, or I guess it's, we're going to there. Yeah. Okay. Can you walk us through? You've got 800 signups right now. You think you can get to 20,000. those signups though are not revenue generating yet, are they? And so walk us through.
So these are signups. Right now we're in alpha mode, so we've given it out to a handful of users. We're just testing everything, making sure the functionalities are good. These are signups that are waiting for a beta release. Once our beta is live, we're going to give it out to 500 people. During beta, we're going to be giving out slower and slower. So each 500, like each person in that 500 pool is going to get 5 keys to give away to their friends and family, however they want to do it. And we're going to keep doing that to keep growing. But we've gotten these signups from social media. We ran a referral contest. We've made partnerships with websites that have high traffic that'll have a banner of our sign up button or whatever it is. And we've only spent $1,000 to get 800 of these signups.
Alex, 1 minute left to answer questions.
Okay, good. So I won't steal. I'll leave mine to the end. Neil had a great one, so let's do that. Data scraped automatically, or do you need to set up each vendor manually?
Sorry, data for which?
That's a great question. It basically says, is the data you're collecting right now scraped automatically, or when you go to set up a vendor, do you need to set up manually?
Oh, for our vendors. Okay, so let's say for both sides. So the data that we have on companies is automatic. The data that the affiliates that we bring on board that we redirect to, we apply for them. And it's essentially you're applying for a big marketplace of 100 companies, 50 companies that all share the same kind of common goal of sustainability.
Great. And then data security issues will be the last question. Do you have any data security issues to kind of work through now or in the future?
Not at this point. Like all of the data that we collect is users can opt in or opt out. And it's primarily used just to generate like better experiences for them and also force or encourage companies to become better sustainably.
Well, I'm going to sneak in one more question, Zach. When do these users start writing you checks?
So as soon as we launch, anytime anyone clicks on a link or buys something, we generate money. So for example, Microsoft is one of our affiliate companies. And so if someone clicks on a link and we redirect them to a Microsoft web store, they buy a Surface, we make 15% of that sale.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, Zach. I'm gonna. He's already.
Yeah, we got to call it a wrap here, guys. Randy's sneaking extra questions as usual. Great to see all the questions, Randy, though. But let's move on to our next speaker.
Hey, well, it's Spencer at Bessie Box, and Zach, you already used this once, didn't you?
I have some Bessie Box goods in my freezer at home. Really good meats. So Bessie, tell us the story, or Spencer, tell us the story of Bessie.
Hey, thanks, Randy. Thanks, Zach. Let me share my screen.
All right.
Okay, we good? Awesome. All right, I'm Spencer Kerber. I'm a founder at Bessie, and my contact info is on the slide, so get a hold of me after. Bessie equips farmers so that they can reach customers without markups and at scale. And we've been running our own brand, our Bessie brand, and have been able to turn over $30,000 of revenue in a month, or this past month, most of which is recurring. And our gross margins last year were 27%, and they're moving towards 35 this year. And I bring those up because online grocery is seemingly everywhere right now, but it's unprofitable, and that sucks. The massive players are dealing with infrastructure headaches that aren't set up for positive profits. And Bessie is sitting in that micro fulfillment center range where we can actually do some awesome work. How do we do this? We're going back to the basics. We focused on natural farmers that have better meat. We simplify the value chain, and we produce better margins through that automation and simplification. And better meat, better margins is a better experience for customers. And this isn't just pen and paper or Excel. Like, we've written and made the software that connects the inventory, the demand, and the fulfillment pieces so that we can actually scale the work that we've done with a small team of 3 now to 2 cities across Alberta. So we're in the greater Calgary and Edmonton areas. And our customers notice this isn't just stuff happening behind the scenes. The experience is exceptional. And we're talking tough customers to impress. We're talking boomers, and we're making it easy for them to buy something that's online. That's often their first time purchasing something online, and it's paying off. We're going to pass $300,000 of sales this year, and we have more than 50 customers that have spent more than $1,000 each with us. So our farms are seeing this growth, and they're like, hey, give us a piece. This is nuts. And we agree. The software that we've written and we're making and using for Bessie is extendable to our partners. And so we plan to take these software pieces and turn them into a production-ready offering that we can extend out to unowned channels. There's bigger brands that have talked to us about selling through us, and we have a bunch of existing producers, but specifically Pine Haven, which is one of our keystone beef producers, is about to open a facility that will start 10xing their volume to over $150 million of beef per year through that facility. And they've asked us to be their partner for that fulfillment and managing that demand. We plan to go with a fixed fee and a % of volume charge for these types of services. This is why I'm here, is I'm asking for $400,000 to support this growth into services for our partners. The use of funds will be mostly dev and talent focused, but also for customer automations and building better tooling for our partners to work with us. And we have a small team of 3. We're pretty hungry, and we have some really awesome advisors. And we think that we're ready to grow to this next step. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Bessie. Actually, I wasn't paying attention to the clock and you're a few minutes over, but that's all right. Randy, take it away.
So all the time we made up on the first 2, but you know what? That's a smart entrepreneur. He saw it coming, so he took it up. So Spencer, I'm gonna, the reason that online isn't working is that as soon as the people scale, that's where they get killed, right? So, how do you get outside of Alberta? And quite honestly, that actually leads into a question from Zach. So we're on the same page here. Is like, so there's revenue in the Pine Haven. Are they doing some of the distribution, or you're still going to do that farmer Pine Haven Shopify connection to the customer? Like, how do you scale this thing, and how much money is Pine Haven worth next year?
Okay. First question is scaling out of province or scaling regions. We purposefully do regional fulfillment, micro fulfillment, because the margins are there. Capital light. Expanding regions. Pine Haven is awesome because this facility takes them national, which means that we can start extending service to places outside of Alberta while having keystone quality that we can trust and build off of. And then for that volume, cross-docking to distributor relationships typically result in a 10% to 35% up markup on food products. We'd be looking at scaling our services, not by buying all of those trucks, obviously, but taking the APIs for the routing and inventory that we're already doing and feeding them through trusted 3PL and local courier networks at the regions that we service. That's our scaling plan there. And then on the amount of volume or the revenue that we could pull, we'd be looking at that phase 1 pilot with Pine Haven at capacity does $150 million of revenue, somewhere in that of product through there. So that 10 to 35% piece where it's the distribution is where we'd be putting on our charge.
Okay. Okay, didn't hear a number, by the way, so you may want to think about that for, drop it in chat later on.
For one more question, last question, Randy. Okay,
so how do you compete with other incumbent online meat delivery businesses? Great question, Adon.
Yeah. First answer to that is every one of those is shipping. They're using FedEx, they're using Purolator. Margins are blown to pieces when you do that. And so they're not actually making money. They can invest in the experience. Then second is we've built the software for the inventory that connects with what the producer is using currently. So while there's not a digital integration there, we're taking the same data and then uploading it into our inventory. And so having that visibility on the inventory is really important because we're not managing just Bessie channels. We want to be managing their other channels. So that means when their inventory needs to be allocated to 5 different places, food service, restaurants, grocer, Bessie, then we know where it is and we're helping them do that. And so we can help them find better margin by moving across those channels.
Okay, we're gonna have to wrap it up here. That's we're a little bit over time. Spencer, great presentation. Awesome to see that kind of MRR that you're showing, and we're gonna have to move on to the next presentation. So, Randy.
Yeah, it's IEP Canada, and it's me. And where are you? There you are. I see you. By the way, quick shout out to Mike Yezwa. I didn't see your picture, Mike, earlier. I was naming some of the Valhalla members, and good to see you.
Can you see?
We got you. Looks
Okay.
good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Omid Titidej, CEO and founder of International Education Platform, or IEP. We unlock a study abroad market for international students. I will walk you through Maria's story, who wants to study in Canada. She lives in Brazil and wants to complete a bachelor degree in Canada. That will cost her at least 100,000 in tuition and living expenses. This can be cost prohibitive for many qualified international students every year. IEP enables Maria to complete up to half of her program in Brazil and save 40% on her total cost. And moreover, she will be adapted into Canadian educational system and culture while studying at home. International students can use our two-sided educational platform to complete initial semester at their home country and save at least $10,000 per semester. On the other side, North American universities access to a new market opening of pre-screened students and additional revenue. In the last 2 years, for only one program, we recruited 370 international students, generating over $835K in revenue. This allowed us to continue our expansion through bootstrapping due to our high GP of average 50%. Every year, international students like Maria pay over $12 billion in the form of tuition fee for their first year only in North America. With our current sales pipeline and expected deals, we are expecting to double our organic revenue in 2021. Now we have concluded deals with more Canadian and overseas universities that gives us further promising with more programs next year. We have explored the student's journey and market composition for a studying abroad market, and we mapped value proposition of each market component into our platform. We started the business prior to COVID, and with COVID, we realized that there is a demand spike for our type of services. Therefore, we need to expand our supply side to accelerate our growth at this perfect time. Moreover, online education is here to stay, and our business model makes studying abroad affordable for already impacted global family economy suffering from COVID-19. We need $540,000 to invest into our sales and marketing efforts that can double our revenue. And me and Reza are the founders, and we're international students before, with academic and professional experience in Middle East, UK, and Canada. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm sorry, I cannot hear.
Yeah, no, that was me pulling a Zoom noob call. Like, I've never spent like a year on this platform before. Holy cow. And Zach's laughing his ass off.
That happened to me last week, Randy. Now it happened to both of us. Now we're even.
It's such a noob move. Like, come on. Like, I haven't spent all day on this. So great question, actually. What does your platform offer beyond kind of Zoom, email, IM integration?
Currently, we are using a Moodle and Big Blue Button. They are open source platform, but we are developing a multi-platform. I mean, different universities with different platform can work and integrate with our platform, and we are using HubSpot as a CRM to integrate all of these together.
Okay, so yeah, and you did say open source, so that's good. I'd love to go back to the revenue slide if you can. And there is another question here: is what evidence do you have that universities are willing to lower their tuition rates? So I'll ask my question after. on this slide, but basically right now answer the one about, do you have evidence that universities are willing to lower tuition?
This is articulation program between origin and destination university. The destination university in Canada, we don't need to pay anything to them because this is articulation program. We transfer credit from origin university to Canadian university. Therefore, we can choose our tuition fee. And since our cost is very low, it is about 20% of the tuition fee of Canadian universities. Therefore, we can offer about 30% of the tuition fee.
Great. Okay. So Neil and I are asking the same question. So walk us through, using this slide, how you make money, because I see a lot of like total addressable market thing going on here, but like where do you make some money on this through this whole process?
The student pay us the tuition fee. It is about 30% of university tuition fee, and we make money from that. Our GP is 40 to 60%.
Okay, so that goes to the question that was just asked about. So you're telling us that the universities are willing to give up 30% of their tuition to you?
In the articulation program, if a university wants to transfer the credit to the destination university, the university doesn't ask any tuition fee. This is free of charge for us. If we want to transfer credit, they may just ask maybe a small amount of the transfer fee.
Okay.
We have time for one more question, Randy. One last question.
Perfect. The last question is going to be, so how much revenue has gone through your platform so far, or are you guys just coming out of beta?
This is our revenue, 835,000 we had revenue during the last 2 years. That was just for our first program, and we are going to develop our program, and we already signed an MOU with several universities to have at least 10 programs for next semester.
Okay, that's kind of a big deal. I'd encourage you to move that closer to the first slide. So, you know, 835,000 of revenue and 7 universities coming on. You guys are kind of a big deal.
That was just for one university, and also for one program. And
hey, sorry, we're kind of out of time, but as Randy said, like, that is an awesome milestone. $835,000, that's a lot of money. Congratulations on that. That's
well done.
But we have to keep the show moving, so we have to move on to our next speaker. Over. Thanks so much.
It's 10 Adventures and Richard Campbell. Woohoo!
Hi everybody. Hey, Omar, can you stop your screen sharing? I can't override you. Hello?
I thought I stopped it. Sorry.
There we go.
I tried that. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, you're good to go, Richard.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Richard. I'm the founder of 10 Adventures. We're a one-stop shop to plan and book adventure travel. You may not know this, but travel's changing. What used to be this instrument of torture, a bus tour, is changing now, and people are experiencing small group travel. And this is largely based around experiential travel, where they're walking, cycling, snowshoeing, and whatnot. This change in travel is really upsetting the travel market. We're seeing adventure travel explode. It's now $1 trillion market, growing at 17% compounded annually. The problem is, even though the market's exploding, it's really confusing if you are an adventure traveler. And it really sucks because there's tens of thousands of websites and tour operators, and you don't know who you should book with, or you don't know what you should do. And so we're here to make it easy to plan and book adventure travel. And we do this in 2 ways. Our core offering is an community based on really high quality online route guides. We actually just found out we're the fastest growing adventure community. We're growing at 12 times the industry average, and we're growing at double the second, which is a really good adventure travel community with Gaia. This has built us a large user base of adventure travelers. We get up to 185,000 visits every month. We have 25,000 registered users. And what our users kept asking us for was, can we help them plan a tour? Can we be their guide? And so at the end of last year, we launched a marketplace where our users can book directly with local tour operators from around the world. And we make money by taking a commission on all bookings. We've grown this really rapidly in the last 6 or 7 months during COVID. We're now in 40 countries, and we grew the number of tours we have by 6 times. We were on track for $500,000 in 2020 revenues. Obviously, all of the travel industry has been impacted, but these sales aren't lost. These are just postponed, and actually they're predicting a massive boom in adventure travel back to pre-COVID levels once coronavirus is resolved. And right now we're seeing lots of green shoots. We're getting 3 times more users, 6 times more tours, and 5 times more booking inquiries than we were pre-COVID. And this is in the middle of a pandemic. Our secret sauce, we're an all-in-one, so we make it really easy. And anytime you're using, a dozen websites to do something, and another website comes along that gives you everything in one website, you tend to use that one. Second of all, with marketplaces, people often forget where the buyer is going to come from. But our community is essentially all adventure travel buyers, and they come to us directly. And this gives us really low-cost customer acquisition costs. In terms of the team, this is my 3rd high growth company. I've actually been pre-product, pre-launch in a UK marketplace. We exited for over 300 million. And I just grew a consulting company where we increased revenues by 35 times. We're looking to build the #1 adventure travel app and site. We're looking to fundraise 750,000 pre-seed. It's going to allow us to scale our existing products and build 2 new products that our users are asking us for. If this is of interest, please reach out. I'd love to chat more.
All right, thanks, Richard. Right on time. Ready for some questions coming in for 10 Adventures.
Okay, so let's go. Given it's travel and people are gun shy right now, putting people at ease from the get-go up, people always travel, etc. I'm trying to get the question out of there. I apologize, but it's is this a really interesting time? I guess how COVID's impacted the business. Are people kind of planning for the future? How have you seen sort of the last 4 months kind of impact this space?
Yeah, so we see a lot of travel companies just kind of disintegrating. People don't know how to live through downturn. This is my 5th major downturn. I grew up in Calgary. I've been in the tech industry. So eventually downturns end. And so we're using this time to prepare for when it comes back. All the studies show adventure travel is going to recover almost immediately, because even in early days of a vaccine, it is low impact in terms of you're in nature, you're in small towns, you're in groups with your friends. So travel's not done forever. It's just in a hiatus. And they're predicting big growth in North America and Western Europe next year as drug therapies start to recover. So for us, it's just a time, how can we scale quickly while everyone else is kind of scared and doing nothing?
And how are you keeping your user base kind of motivated during this time? Like are you guys kind of becoming thought leaders, kind of aggregating people onto a site, or sort of building community?
Well, this is the best part, is having a community and having a marketplace. We're getting, we're not getting many bookings. We've had, a handful of bookings this summer, but our community is growing. And in fact, I mentioned we're growing at 12 times the industry average. And so just focusing on, people want to still go on trips. They just don't want to go on overnight trips. They want to go hiking nearby or going for walks or bike rides. And so our content scores really, really well on Google, because that's what we've been focusing on for the past 12 months. And so people are finding and discovering and learning about our company now for our community. When travel comes back, they already know who we are.
Exactly. So then your focus, I love this whole, okay, we're taking COVID kind of to sort of just really kind of batten down the hatches and get the thing tight. What's kind of your partnership kind of, you must be reaching out right now to sort of try to aggregate more partners onto the site. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, so we've been really great. We've had about 90% sales success reaching out to other tour operators. The truth is, we reach out now, and some people are just kind of disintegrating. This is their first time they've gone through something. It's really impactful for them. So in some cases, they just say, listen, we're not doing anything until there's a vaccine. Other cases, they love that we're thinking about next year, and they look at it as kind of like a happy thing to start thinking of. Yes, it will get back to next year. So they like the positivity.
Perfect. Okay. 2 questions, Zach, or 1?
Well, we kind of just came up on time. I might suggest that there's a couple of questions coming in. Maybe Richard, you can just answer those in the chat, because we're just
sure, definitely.
Well done, Richard.
Thank you.
You got a couple of comments that said it was a very well answered Q&A. Okay,
right,
so I'm supposed to already know who's next, and I have to go to my handy dandy PDF, and it is Lending Guru. Sorry, Clay, I should have known it's you. By the way, Clay, you don't know this yet, but I've been assigned to be your lead due diligence guy. What could possibly go wrong with that, right?
Why, lucky us. Thank you. That's awesome.
All right, Clay, I'm ready when you are. As soon as you start talking, I'll start the time.
Yeah, Sam gave me grief for it too. Like, what the hell?
All right, are we live? Are we good?
You're good, Clay. Take it away.
All right, well, Sam Jackson does have a way with words. Hi, everyone. I'm Clay, and I'm the co-founder of an exciting new fintech called Lending Guru. So imagine that your friend needs some financial help due to this, crazy COVID pandemic time, and you decide to lend them some money. You agree on the amount, maybe the interest rate and the repayment terms. But then how do you get an actual agreement in place? Do you use an online template? Do you find a legal service online? Maybe you go to an expensive lawyer, but then what? Do you have to remind them every month for payment? What if they want to pay you more money one month and less in the next? How do you keep track of it all? Do you use a ledger, a spreadsheet, or some other method? So many of us have likely experienced this exact same problem. So let me just quickly tell you my personal story. A few years ago, my mother-in-law had lent her son some money, and then she suddenly passed away. Lo and behold, the son denied ever receiving the loan. To this date, the estate is still not finalized, it's not settled, and it's caused unnecessary turmoil in the family, as well as unnecessary legal costs. I'm sure many of you can relate to a story just like mine. So our research has shown that most people have or will engage in a personal loan, but we know that very few actually were papered, managed, or tracked correctly. And almost half experienced a negative outcome because of it. With Lending Guru, we'll basically show you how to lend and borrow it right. You can paper a real loan with us, we can handle all the payments for you, and we can provide robust tracking and reporting all along the way. So while we are in the space of friend-to-friend or friend-to-family lending, we have uncovered 3 other areas of interest: shareholder loans, loans for home purchase, as well as anyone who has an existing loan, we can do all the tracking and reporting for them. So although we are pre-revenue at this point, we do have 2 LOIs in hand. This gives us exposure to around 100,000 unique visitors per month. And we have 2 pending LOIs, both with national firms, 12,000 advisors, and hundreds of thousands of clients. We have several ways to generate revenue: loan agreement setup, a one-time fee, or 2 different methods if you're looking for subscription. Gross margins right now of over 90%. These are the 3 founders. So Gord Bilo, he's our chief guru, 35 years as an entrepreneur with a recent finance exit. Rob's our tech guy, about 24 years in technology and software. And myself, Clay, over 2 decades of business development experience. But it's really our awesome advisors that are making things work well for us. You'll note some interesting people on the screen. We've attracted a partner from McLeod Law, the ex-chairman for Heritage Education Funds, a $2.5 billion fund, as well as an executive VP from BMO who just retired. So the help we're looking for, we're currently seeking our first round of $250,000 to formalize those alliance partners, enhance some technology, and obviously some working capitals, but we do need some support and expertise in some other areas as well. With everything going on in the world today, we believe that Lending Guru is ideally positioned and ready to capitalize on this untapped market of personal lending. Thank you.
Right at the 3-minute mark, Clay. Nice job.
Like that? You think he's done it before or something?
I have been practicing. Let me tell you, it's hard to do in 3 minutes.
It's funny, as an angel investor, we were talking about getting screwed at the beginning and Zach was cringing, but I have to tell you, Clay, I usually get more screwed when I lend a family member or a friend $1,000. It never seems to come back. At least the CEO of the company that closes goes, "Hey, sorry about that. It didn't work out." And I go, "Okay, that's cool." Right. But you're right. I've got about 5 or 6 friends that, are still waiting I'm still waiting for their money. And I do have a friend I'm thinking about, he probably wants to put me on Lending Guru. So
yeah,
yeah. Have you got any pushback on the flat fees? Good question, Nolan.
Not really. The $49 flat fee for the loan agreement itself, I mean, in comparison, if you went to a lawyer, $500, $1,000, maybe more, depending on how complex the loan is. We use a lot of technology to dynamically build that loan. So depending on where you live, what type of collateral, lender, borrower, co-borrowers, guarantors, all those factors. So we think $49 is fair. Like I said, we are pre-revenue. We have some LOIs. We may drop it a little bit. We'll see. But the market is telling us that a subscription-based model seems to make more sense.
Okay, and a question here from Sam about who's paying the fees. I think you kind of covered it, but just do you want to clarify that for sure?
Yeah, so I mean, we effectively have 2 different ways. We have a B2C model, so any consumer, if you land on our website or happen to hear about us, can certainly execute a loan. So we obviously make money from that. And then the other way is more of a B2B2C, where I spoke of those distribution partners and alliance partners. So we are very much more aggressive, I think, in that market right now, or tapping into that market to get those, big financial planning firms, mortgage brokerage firms to use our product as a means to an end for their clients. And so we'll pay them a little bit of a commission, but that's how we'll generate probably the bulk of our revenue.
Okay, I'll give you the last two questions, and Zach will cut you off after this. So the question we got online is, who are your competitors in the space? And mine is going to be, okay, so where are you on the revenue stream? I think you covered it, but I might have missed it.
Yeah, so competitors, today in Canada, there actually isn't a lot. You can certainly use an online template. Well, usually they're free, they're not very good. There are some other sort of online legal services, but there's two companies in particular in the States that we're following quite closely. One is called Zerchu, and so they're doing something similar. They're a little bit more expensive than us and a bit clunky in what you're allowed to do. And then the other one's Law Depot. So they also have sort of a subscription-based model that is also very expensive, but has some restrictions. So that's really our two competitors. I'm sorry, what was your second one, Randy?
You making any money yet?
Yeah, no, we're pre-revenue. So we're just teeing up these LOIs right now, quite honestly, but we expect to be generating revenue by the end of this year.
Cool. Well done, Clay. Gary applauds. It's not your first rodeo, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Randy, we're just over halfway. We've got 4 companies left. According to my schedule here, Randy, we're about 8 minutes behind schedule.
Oh my gosh, and it's probably me. Okay, we'll get on track. So Stackraft, Pratika.
Okay, let me share my screen. All right, perfect. So hi everyone, my name is Vartika. I'm the founder and CEO of Stackraft. And for the next 3 minutes, I request you to forget everything that you know about hiring engineers. So this is my story. As a 19-year-old, I started a fun job of writing resumes. This was almost 15 years back. And I wasn't a writer and I didn't know anything. What I figured was a hack about keywords based on which resumes are shortlisted for interviews. When I grew up in positions of hiring myself, the toughest part of my job was looking at beautiful resumes and deciding who to call for an interview. So the biggest research says 85% of jobs are filled by evidence of networking and people that we trust, and resumes do not tell a story. So HR asked me, how can they help me and do a better thing? I said, let's make a better use of your hiring budget and pay people for their time that they'll spend in solving real problems as part of this job. And even learn from each other rather than wasting up in putting up a performance to write a great resume or doing a great interview. So paid work auditions and the collective intelligence of people giving feedback to each other was the real solution there. If you look at the whole market here, in the post-COVID world, hiring will get all the more fierce with around 21 million people, software engineers competing for jobs. And we are targeting software engineers right now because they are the most in demand. And there are around over 1 million open software jobs, and companies spend an average of $5,000 per hire. So there's no shortage of talent. The skill gap is a myth. The real shortage is of the people who can hire that talent. In terms of competitive landscape, there are several job boards, there are list aggregators, there are fancy tools like video resumes, chatbots, and whatnot. Despite all of that, hiring still remains as the #1 problem of companies. So we are thinking from first principles on how to reduce the noise and make hiring more intentional and filter for quality, rather than just having a list and do selection based on that. So this is a very novel approach of collective intelligence and building a data network out of it. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what is so special about it. The point is everyone is working in their own silos and their own independent hiring pipelines. Now, imagine if a company shortlists around 10 people and hires 1, there are 9 people who got rejected, but they're not bad. That is the real moat that can be used for any other company to fast track their hiring decision. So who am I beyond an accidental resume writer? I'm a second-time founder. I've built 7 products. I've sold 1, MBA by education, and I've worked with companies like NVIDIA in the past. I met Silento, my co-founder and CTO, 5 years back. He's been coding since the age of 10. recognized by Microsoft, has built 6 products himself. I'm lucky to have some great advisors. Jason, who's the tech founder at Benevity, has been advising me. And thanks to Platform, so the fun fact is I came to Calgary in Feb this year, so I'm super new.
3 minutes for Tika.
Okay, so we have around 5,000 engineers registered on the platform with over 100 companies on a public beta. Raymond Positive, 2-people team, $150K in our revenue pipeline already. And I'm raising 500K to get to an ARR of 600K and 1 million user base. So thank you.
All right, Randy is speaking.
Yeah, well done.
Did that just happen for a second time?
Yeah, I know. It's very bad. So good pitch. And you and I actually had spent some time together. And I was talking about how the secret sauce is actually the human interaction mixed with the machine learning. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So the secret sauce is the collective intelligence, which is swarm intelligence, just like rather than looking at, so the interview data, everyone spends a lot of time in giving those interviews, and that's evaluated, that data is lost. But if that project-based approach is put out in public and evaluation is done on top of that, it generates all the more data and a leaderboard of ranking to fast track hiring decisions. So it's no longer reliant on resumes and so on. It's reliant on the work that you've done and evidence of work.
And you owe Nolan like a beer or $50 because he's throwing you a puffball, which is you had the $2.99 subscription model up. Just for a second, do you want to go back to that screen and tell us about your revenue model? And you owe him big time.
So there are 3 pricing tiers. One is premium, because the more the user base, the more potential revenue the platform can make. So it's a free job posting, no cost for that. And then there is a $2.99 per month per user kind of a per seat model, where an unlimited job postings, unlimited tracking system, and instant talent recommendation, no contract, no hiring fee, nothing of that sorts. And then there is a third enterprise model, because enterprises have legacy systems like ATS and so on. So that's a $500 per month kind of a thing, and flat fee per hire, so 10 grand per hire. So 3 tiers we have, but this is the plan that we are mostly focused on right now as per our target audience base right now.
Randy muted himself again. What's going on? Randy's muting himself by default. Listen, let's just do one last question. What does that revenue pipeline look like? You mentioned $150,000.
Yes. So we have 3 customers, 3 enterprise customers that we have signed up for already. And we have 100 beta users, like these are mid-scale startups who are using the platform, and we are now moving them to subscription per month.
Okay, so that was what I was saying. That's 3. And now I'm fired, by the way. I was actually going to say answer that question online, and then Zach says answer it, and I'm going, oh, forget it. So we have to move on now. So I'm going to take.
We have to move on, but yeah, great presentation, Vartika. Yeah, I was part of your due diligence team too. Really nice presentation, honestly. Big improvement from what you submitted. Really good job telling the story. Like to see that. So we've got 3 more presenters according to my count. Randy, who's up next?
Yeah, and Peter, I can see him on screen, and he's looking just charged and ready to go. So Peter, we're going to turn it over to you and take us home.
Peter,
and
do I have time to restock my beer? My beer's empty. Peter, I need 10 seconds.
Well, you go do that. I'll look after this. How's that? Peter, don't wait for him. Peter, are you there?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Now, see, there's a whole lot of this rookie Zoom thing going on tonight.
You're
just trying to make me feel better.
You totally missed my joke about leaving me to the end after all the beers were consumed.
Yeah, actually, that's why Mike DeBoer went for no internet. He said, oh, I got no internet, because he already knows pitch to the investors when they're totally drunk.
Hey, Peter, we're ready to go here. Ready when you are.
very well in person, but today we're on Zoom. And really that reflects a change in the way the world is functioning these days. Everything is gone virtual, and what is true in our day-to-day life is also true in healthcare. It's gone virtual. So this March, for example, virtual doctor visits went from an idea under discussion for about 5 years in Alberta to the new normal in about 2 weeks. And what made that possible was technology, the existence of things like Zoom and secure modes of communication. I'm just trying to share my screen here, and I'm hoping that I can move my slides forward. There we go. So the pandemic has created a new reality for many people. A reluctance to leave the house for basic needs, the need to book appointments for basic services outside the house with long wait times, and the need to pay for closer attention to their health. So in the age of Amazon, the world was already going the way of hyper-convenience. When we started on this project, there was actually no pandemic. We simply saw that technology and new modes of service delivery were creating an opportunity to bring innovation to healthcare and allow people to take more control over their health. The problem that we wanted to focus on was medical testing and other services that could be delivered differently. Less driving around, fewer waiting rooms, more immediate care, and better, faster information. The healthcare system traditionally is not patient-centric, and we wanted to turn that on its head. So the solution that we came up with was a software platform that would make it easy for people to book medical services and receive care in the safety, comfort, and privacy of their own home, and to create a patient-first consumer experience. So we set out to create a platform where patients could meet health professionals on different terms. It would utilize cutting-edge UX design, operate in a highly secure, HIPAA-compliant environment, and offer back-end functionality that would make the whole thing scalable, both vertically and horizontally. And we would marry the technology with an awesome service delivery model to create a true revolution in healthcare. So before writing a line of code, we actually did a bunch of research. And one of the things that we wanted to figure out was, does the market exist? How does it work? Can we access it? What are the regulatory hurdles? How does health consumer psychology work? We did a bunch of surveying. We talked to people about whether they would use a service like this. And then we also looked at some of the back-end challenges. We tried to figure out, who would work with us? Would we be able to partner with labs? And the answer was, yes, we could. In fact, we formed commercial agreements with some of the leading laboratories in the world. They've partnered with us, and they'll be working with us to build this business. Then we looked at competition, and we saw an open playing field. So we assembled a team, bringing together software developers in Canada and health professionals, and went to work on building our MVP.
Peter, you're just over 3 minutes.
Okay, we got a grant from Alberta Innovates. We put some of our own time and money into the project, and now we're very close to launch within a couple of weeks. Our first van's going to be on the streets next week, and we've already got a network of over 100 nurses ready to go to work. So we've got a diverse management team and board, very experienced entrepreneurs, medical professionals from all facets of the industry. And we're ready to launch. So that's it. Now we just need some investment capital. That's it.
Work. Great pitch.
I didn't talk fast enough. I timed it at 3 minutes, but for some reason I still went over.
Happens all the time, actually. Zach had the first question, which is a good one, because I was going to ask the same thing. So walk us through the launch a little bit, because you're kind of at that really tricky point where you're sort of pre-launch and kind of asking everyone to believe what happens next. But like, how firm do you feel that launch is going to go, and when does it happen?
I think it's going to happen very soon, like perhaps next week. We're really waiting on a couple of things to happen, and we think it's going to happen in the next week or two. Essentially, it's the positioning of the app on the App Store and on Google Play. We've got Google Play approval. We're just waiting for the App Store.
And Mike, I'm glad you asked this question, because I wanted to confirm that. How many tests have you done so far?
We've been doing tests with basically people in our community. So we don't have any, like, I would say, sort of outside customers yet, but we've done sufficient testing to send samples to our different labs to make sure that our system works. And we've used the app, we've been able to share the app and have people use the app kind of behind a wall. And so now it'll just go live.
Okay, so walk us through like a case study. So like I'm a user, I use the app, the test goes, where's the revenue through the whole kind of chain, like the value chain? Like, how do you guys get paid? Who's paying you? Who's paying the nurses? Can you kind of walk through that a little bit? Sure.
So we've got different tests at different price levels. The most basic thing that we do is around $80 to the consumer, and that's to have us come and collect a sample at their home or office. And that's essentially, for example, if someone has a lab requisition from their doctor, they will use us to come and collect their sample. Right now, there's about a 68-week wait at the community labs. So they'll be able to bypass that and have us come and collect their sample, get it into the lab, and they'll get the results much quicker, or their doctor will. We've also got other tests that people can bypass their doctor visit entirely. They can just order directly from us. Those are a little bit more expensive, but they kind of range typically kind of in the $100 to $150 range. Our margin on most of these tests is around 50%. So we cover that margin we have nurses that work both on contract and also on staff. And
Peter, we're gonna have to wrap it up here. We're just over time.
Sure.
But there's actually 2 more questions in the chat, which I encourage you to answer in the chat because I think there's some good questions.
Okay.
But hey, really excited to hear a little bit more about your launch, especially what's happening in the next week or 2. Keep us posted here. So that's some pretty exciting stuff, Peter. Awesome. We got 2 more presentations. Randy, who's up next?
Well, we're heading to, and by the way, Peter, nice to meet you face to face finally. We're heading to Vetsie, and it's Steve Boyer.
Okay. Can you guys hear me all right?
Bad.
Just share my screen. Okay. You ready?
We're ready.
Okay, here we go. Hi, my name is Dr. Steve Boyer. I'm a veterinarian and co-founder of Vetsie. For pet owners, a trip to the vet can often be inconvenient, time-consuming, and sometimes unsettling regarding the uncertainty of costs. Many clients can't make the trip, or their pets may be too anxious or fearful to come in. Vets are often struggling to maintain the standard of care for these pets. We need another way to connect with our clients and patients remotely and add another revenue stream. Vetsie is the solution. For pet owners, they can now easily schedule a video consultation with their preferred vet online in seconds, and the fees are transparent. For vets, we now have an added revenue stream, monetizing our professional expertise. This improves efficiency throughout the day by prioritizing urgent in-clinic visits and increases the standard of care by giving us a way to access pets remotely. Vetsie is a telemedicine platform that virtually connects veterinarians and pet owners, allowing them to connect without ever leaving their home or clinic. Our platform is fully functional and can be used in parallel to any practice management software. In 2018 in Canada, pet owners spent almost $4 billion on veterinary care, and of that, it's estimated $740 million went to exam consultation fees. We project the obtainable market for telemedicine visits to be around $148 million. Because of COVID-19, some clinics have closed or have reduced hours, and most are performing curbside appointments, where clients are not allowed in the building. As well, 78% of pet owners want access to virtual care. Now is the time for telemedicine. Veterinary telemedicine is currently unsaturated in Canada, but there are a few competitors in the space. Vetsie is different for a few reasons. We are web-based, we can onboard clinics in minutes, book a consultation in seconds, and we are 2 to 4 times more affordable than the competition. We are unique in that we have 3 revenue streams. We charge vets a monthly subscription and a fee per video consultation. For pet owners, there will also be a small convenience fee per booking. We project our clinic partnerships to be over 60 by the end of 2021 and 148 by the end of 2022, resulting in an annual recurring revenue of $235,000 and $1.4 million respectively. Our go-to-market strategy is to focus on all clinics, including remote and rural practices, referrals, and targeted partnerships in nutrition, insurance, and charities. We are proud to be one of 7 graduates of the Founders Institute Pre-Seed Accelerator and have moved quick to develop early traction. We are in discussions with over 15 clinics and have 8 clinics ready to use our platform, giving Vetsie access to over 10,000 pet owners. We have a strong team with proven success in entrepreneurship, over 2 decades in veterinary experience, and over 10 years in technology and software development. We are looking for $300,000 for 17 months financing to partner with 229 clinics, resulting in $561,000. We're Vetsie, and we bring pet care anywhere. Thank you.
Well done.
All right.
They're piling in. What's stopping a vet from doing this using FaceTime, Zoom, etc.?
That's a good question. And the answer is that veterinarians are looking for a branded professional service and something that's secure. They also want something where they can collect fees automatically. So through our platform, clients can pay upfront and the fees are automatically sent to the clinic versus chasing down clients after the fact for payment.
And can it be white labeled is another one that comes in. Great answer to that, by the way.
Yeah, so it can be white labeled. We have a feature for when clients are booking. The clinic can put their colors and their logo on that screen so that Vetsie can be hidden and it can show the clinic logo.
Status of the product, when's it going live?
Yeah, we're going live pretty quick. We actually do have some clinics right now that are kind of going through tests right now. So we're hoping within the next 2 weeks here to flip the on switch and be truly live.
And I love your last slide when we get an ask that says, you know, put this much money in and it'll generate this much of revenue. So I have to ask on that 561,063, that's pretty specific, Mr. Spock. I'm wondering, is that because you already have pre-knowledge that revenue is actually sitting there? Is that a sales pipeline? Like, how hard and fast is that 561,063 number?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it really comes down to our projections. So we have to make assumptions based on the average clinic, how many vets are in each clinic, how many video consultations they're going to perform per day, and what they're going to charge. So we actually had a pretty conservative number, and our projections are based on a 2 veterinary practice each vet doing 1 video consultation per day at $50, and then growing to 229 clinics, essentially.
Great. And then Zach gets the last question, which is, what does the sales process look like? Like, how much revenue do you get on an average sale?
Great question. So again, it depends on how many vets are in each practice and how big the clinics are. But if we were to, like, on a conservative number, if we had a 2-doctor practice and each vet does 1 video consultation per day, nice Frenchie, at $50.
Boston, and you can have it tonight.
So a 2-doctor practice, 1 video consultation per day per vet at $50. The clinic's going to generate $2,000 per month in revenue, and we're going to get about 280 of that. 280, and then if on the high end, of course, it's scalable. That if it's a larger practice, more video consultations, etc.
That's great stuff. Zach, am I right that we hit the wall?
Right on time, Randy. You are right on time. Unbelievable.
Well, I'm making up for feeling guilty about being 6.5 minutes behind. Holy cow! And yeah, listen, if you want this dog for lab purposes or anything, you can totally have it tonight. So it's being a really bad child. Everybody else's dog is in the same spot going, hey, this is when we go for a walk. I am glad our next presenter found the internet. Mike, how the hell are you, man?
Mike, are you here? Mike told us that he didn't have internet connection.
No,
yeah, I totally made it. I totally made it.
Mike, tell us how you found the internet. How did you find the internet, Mike? What did you do?
I drove to friend's house. His friends happened to also be investors in the company, so they had a vested interest in making this happen.
Well, Mike, finish off the night strong. Mike, what's going on at Leveling Up?
All right, so let me get the screen up here. Everybody see that and hear me?
Yeah, we're ready to go, Mike. We can see.
Okay, you can start the timer. Hi, I'm Mike DeBoer, as you know, CEO and founder of Leveling Up. Founded in December 2018, we're now enjoying significant post-COVID traction. Growth-minded people seek a tribe of mentors because they know that expert help and community are keys to accelerated growth and success. But fear of criticism and rejection and limited personal networks mean that most fail at assembling and keeping a trusted tribe. Using our proprietary algorithm, we matchmake our customers into small, high-impact growth tribes. Customers purchase a monthly subscription and groups meet regularly over video conference to be trained and mentored by their choice of proven master. With growth slowing in the wake of COVID, we went back to our customers and asked, what's going on? They told us that training was difficult to justify, but that they're desperate for connection. So we responded with a new product that offers come for the community and stay for the training. With this change, along with opening ourselves up to new market verticals, growth has exploded. Our big market is the growth-minded leader, as represented by the $336 billion leadership training industry. Our pre-COVID vertical, the mid-level corporate leader, is unlikely to give us fast traction these days. So we're strategically testing a wide range of markets, including artists, pastors, small business owners, and HR professionals. Results are coming in, and we're seeing very exciting traction with the visual artist market. And the only other mentoring platform targeted to artists is something called Mentorly. Founded 4 years ago in Canada, this company generates $23 million in revenue. Our key differentiator to Mentorly and most other mentorship, coaching, teaching platforms is our combination of live interaction with experts and safe community. While the emotional stickiness of our community model creates an organic, defensible moat, we have the added advantage of a technology barrier to entry. Because we're using video, we have the unique opportunity to AI monitor and optimize the human-to-human interactions. No other global services platform can have the millions of satisfied and successful customers like LevellingUp can. After growing LevellingUp over the next 3 to 5 years to $100 million plus global powerhouse, our plan is to exit by acquisition to a large platform that's focused on learning and communities, such as LinkedIn. We have a close-knit, resilient, and skilled team, the right team to grow LevellingUp. We have experts in coaching and AI and visual arts and 2 members with prior startup experience. So with the support of $600,000 from aligned angel investors, LevellingUp will reach break-even profitability as we advance 4 key projects over the next 12 months. We'll refine our matchmaking algorithm, build elements of our AI quality control, bring our MVP to the next level, and accelerate the marketing engine. Join us as we bring people closer together and create a new sense of community across the globe as we put the opportunity to know and to be known in everyone's hands. Thanks.
Well done, Mike.
Thanks, Randy.
So, yeah, good to see you again. Mike's a base camp survivor, so it's good to see how you've grown. And this COVID pivot, I kind of want to spend some time on that because obviously there's a whole spike that goes on your graphs at that moment. Like, tell me a little bit about that, like kind of going from the coaching to the mentoring community space, and what do you think the value, the secret sauce was there?
The real difference there was this, I don't need training anymore. I want community, and finding that need came out. You know, Randy, it's really interesting. When we first started our journey, like December 2018, our customers told us that they wanted courses, that they wanted training. And so we said, okay, well, we'll give you training. And then since 2018 through to March 2020, we did that. And then the customers flipped again and says, no, we want community. We don't want courses. We actually offer both now, and both have synergy. We have sales in both. The coaching is more to the B2C, and the training is more to the B2B end of things.
And interestingly, I'm getting a whole pile of questions on chat you're going to probably want to go into later, but it's asking about both sides of the marketplace. So on the user side, why would they pay to find a mentor? Yep. And on the mentor side, how are you finding all these people that are hanging out on your platform? So tackle both sides of your marketplace.
Sure, absolutely. So people pay for so the mentors that we have, like let's pick on this artist space. These mentors are super busy, super successful individuals that say artists covet the chance to connect with. And so normally they would have to pay to attend a workshop or travel. So these are people that are already coveted for their mentorship and their time. In addition to that mentor though, the customers get this community, this platform, this thing that happens regularly. On the mentor side, they're actually beating our door down. They're looking for a way to have somebody structure this, someone make it, give them an easy button. They want to mentor, they're happy to mentor, but we give them the easy button of, yeah, sure, you get paid for this, your time is worth it, so you get paid. We will structure everything, we'll bring you customers, and we'll make everything happen.
Well, that's great. I don't see others other than how do you match them? Is that sort of where the proprietary tech hangs out? I know at one point you were thinking about sort of patenting what you're doing. So do you want to talk about the matching service?
Yeah, so we are part of the funds of this raise will help us to improve that matching process. At the moment, it's a scaling problem. Right now, the customers basically self-identify around a group, and it works great. We do some manual AI, I guess, and make sure that the groups are matched well with the intake forms they provide. We're actually engaging researchers right now through MyTax to tackle this problem of optimized learning communities, which is really a very relevant problem in today's space with education being super disrupted. There's lots of optimal project communities, optimal, spaceship to Mars, but optimal learning communities is a new space. And so we're excited to use that research and to create these algorithms that use a psychographic, demographic, moral foundation theory, all this fantastic stuff to create these optimal learning groups.
Wait, Randy, I was about to end it, but then someone just asked a question that really struck me. According to Mike Yuza, you have landed Steve Jobs' previous coach as a mentor on the platform. Is that true?
Yes, we have Steve Jobs, previous coach. His name's John Matone. He is actually one of our advisors. He pays our team this fantastic compliment of how he chose to be our advisor because he thinks our team is super talented. He's available for hire through our platform. He loves what he loves, and what so many of our coaches, our sages love, is that they get to reach into a whole expanded marketplace. Most of his people are senior executives in the Middle East that fly him out. But here he gets to touch people and interact with people earlier on in their leadership journey and really make a fantastic difference. He's a great guy. John Matone is fantastic.
Randy, I think we should end it there. I
do too, especially when you've been flogging shamelessly. Go to the party, go to the party. So Mike, well done. Thanks for taking us home tonight.
Did you get the message in the chat, everyone? There's an after party. It's on Discord. That's the link. Encourage all of you to join us. Mike, great way to end it. That was an awesome end to the night, getting Steve Jobs' mentor as a mentor on your platform.
Exactly.
And really, congratulations to everyone that presented tonight. And thanks so much to Randy for co-hosting with us. Big props to Randy. He's been doing this for many years. No surprise that he was once NACO's Angel Investor of the Year, only recently, 2018. Look at that.
Nice. Hey, we have to give a shout out to Nolan, who gets the gold cookie for Investor Questions of the Night award. How's that?
Yeah, Nolan, MVP for Investor Questions. Look at that. Just being the team.
Yeah, I think Zach should be handing out free beer for good questions from all of us investor types. Like, it should be a value-added service for us, shilling out our hard-earned money. How's that? So, just saying.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, that's the end. I don't have an ending speech other than thanks so much, everybody. 5 people will be selected for more intensive due diligence. Join us on the 19th where we decide which company we'll be investing in. I sincerely hope it's more than one. We're investing in one as a minimum. I sincerely hope it's more than one. Let's see what happens on the 19th. Yeah. The show goes on. Join us on Discord. We're going to close things out here.
Bye, everyone.
It's happened.